systems go. Clear for liftoff. What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, a.k.a. ToeTagginTambo, back for another edition of the Showdown Show here on the Mayo Media Network. We've got Week 10, Carolina at Chicago. Same guys with me as always. I got Hoop, we got Title. Going to break it all down as usual. We're going to go through the game, the captain plays, the quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers, tight ends, defenses, hopefully not too much defenses at the captain, but we'll get there. We're going to be giving away 5 monthly memberships thanks to our guy Nevs 2904, I think it is. Chris Neville, great dude in our Discord. He's giving away 5 monthly memberships. Talk about that when we get to it. And then, of course, at the end, we'll have the sim segment. Appreciate you guys if you're just joining us. If you're joining us for the first time, smash the like button on the way in. Subscribe to the channel. And just want to remind everyone quickly up front, the show is brought to you and presented by runthesims.com. If you haven't checked it out, we're going to show it off at the end anyway, but you can go to runthesims.com. Use promo code SHIPIT to get 10% off. Really awesome tool. They have tons of other stuff we'll show you after as well, but really solid, especially when it comes to Showdown. Hoopster, I'm going to bring you in, man. I'm not sure if you heard off the top, but we get so much engagement and friendliness from our community that somebody said the intro actually said takeoff and got me to change it to liftoff because rocket ships lift off. So I did change it. I appreciate the feedback. We're always trying to make things better for you, and we appreciate the attention to detail, me specifically. Hoop, what's going on, man? Thursday afternoon, we got another one. Week 10 is here, baby.
Yeah, that stuff's right up your alley. You love that. You probably love to get that message, and you're like, all right, now it's time to make these changes. But yeah, I mean, I did notice it. And yeah, thanks for getting that taken care of. Thanks to our guy Nevs, man, a big time supporter. He's been with our crew for years, not just with our time here at Shipit Nation. He's been with us for a while. Big time supporter, and we appreciate that support. And we also appreciate somebody that's had so much success. I mean, he's had a ton of success in this industry, willing to give it back. And we've seen a lot of this too, even during the shows. We'll pick the $100 winner. And last week, instantly get a message from our guy, Cole Van Cole. He goes, oh, I already won the 100. He's like, give it to somebody else. So we just pump it right back in. And that's what this community is all about. So thank you to Nevs for doing that. Cole Van Cole, thank you for doing that as well. We really appreciate it. And then in terms of this game, yeah, I mean, it's a Thursday night special, that is for sure. But, Tambo, you and I talked earlier, and you kind of changed my tune a little bit on this game. So I'm a little more excited, more excited than I was when I woke up this morning. So that's a good sign. I kind of dove in a little bit, and then, I think there's some stuff there. I think there's some things we can do. So again, a little more excited, but you look at this game and you're going to want to puke. There's no two ways about it.
I love it. I think Title's going to like it too. Title, and I think a lot of like when it comes to this. Before I go to Title, Andrew brings this up too. Hoop just talked about it. Thanks to Nevs. People giving back. He won the $100 in the free roll a week ago. This week, he's giving it away. And there's another $100 free roll being run in the Discord for members. Up to 200 can get in, first come, first serve. So it's going to be awesome. That's going on tonight. If you're a member, it's in the pinned messages. You can just go join it, and we're good to go. Shout out to all these great people in here. A lot of people that we're used to seeing, some regulars, some new faces I see. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this Thursday. Title, bring you in, man. Me and you think alike when it comes to these are the good slates, especially this one. When people, I don't know what to do with Johnson and with Foreman. I don't know what to do with Hubbard and Sanders. And I love slates like this. It's going to be good. There's a chance for some money up top that it could be a lesser split. We'll see. But how you doing, my friend? What's going on this Thursday? Get ready for week 10, baby. Let's go.
Oh, yeah. I'm ready for sure, especially after the brutal last week. But, yeah, am I excited for this game? No, but I don't care really about the entertainment. I care about the money. And these gross games, low totals, it's like, who do people want to click on? Yeah, who knows who you want to click on. But you can easily get off the really chalky trains. You can leave more salary. Yeah, hopefully we don't have a Chargers kick return, or it won't be Chargers, but a kick return to start it off to put defense at the optimal. But man, it's going to be a fun one. Like I said, a lot of injuries on both sides. On the defensive end, too, that'll help some of these offenses, but unknown running back room on both sides. Some pass catchers, DJ Chark is doubtful. Sullivan, another tight end, doubtful, or he's going to be out. So, yeah, there's a lot of low-price guys that we can get to. I think we can leave some money on the table. And I don't think 5-1s, even 4-2s a little bit, but 5-1s especially going to be very, very low owned, I think. So right away, if you want to get different, you can always go that route.
Yeah, I like that call. Hoop, I'll go to you for thoughts on the game in just a second, but I think the way to give the 5 memberships away, we'll have to get through it, so we can't just save it all to the end. So if you guys aren't a member, these are for new people wanting to join the nation, get signed up. This is a way to get in and get a free month. You get everything that's included. We only have that, the monthly, the 6 month, or the annual. This is for a monthly membership. You'll get into the Discord right away. We'll get you the code before the evening. You'll get the showdown content. I'll have it all handled in the back end there, but just want to make sure. So for you guys that are not members, throw in the chat, why you? Why do you get it? Why do you want a membership? Why should we give it to you? Nevs is being very generous, giving these 5 away. Start letting us know. Hoop, let's get into it, man. Let's talk your take on it first. I'll save mine to last. I like it more because I think there's different angles to play, but talk to me about this game, how you see it playing out, sort of a grand scheme overview, as I always like to say.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're going to look at this game. I did this morning, not this morning, I knew this was coming. I just keep using the word this morning, the phrase this morning. I mean, I knew we were getting this on Thursday, but it's like you look at it and it's like seems gross. It's another low total game. It has to be 2 of the worst teams in the NFL, but there is some injury situations. I mean, we have Chenault out, Sullivan out, and Chark out on the Panthers side. So now we're looking at a potentially consolidated passing tree on the Panthers side, which again, their passing offense sucks. It's been all Adam Thielen and nothing else basically all season. But some of these guys, Terrence Marshall's going to get a bigger opportunity. Other guys here as well that could potentially get a little bit of a boost, but I'll just be looking to do just like different things. I mean, you certainly want to be building some teams that leave, I think, big chunks of salary on the table, because we could see, that sort of, and that's the one way to just automatically get different in Showdown every slate is to just leave the big chunks. A lot of people will run their teams and it's just automatically going to fill it close to the top. But if you're willing to leave the big chunks, you automatically get yourself not necessarily different, but involved in teams that are going to be less duplicated, less of a chop if they get to the top, which, on a slate like this, certainly what I'll be looking to do. Some of the correlation stuff I'm probably not as worried about in this game. I think they could just be a weird looking, ugly team that ends up winning it at the end, or a team like, man, like how did this person even come about building that? So I want to embrace some of that weirdness and, big chunks of salary on the table. In terms of captains, it's going to be hard to pinpoint captains that we like. I do like what they did though with Adam Thielen and priced him way up there at 11,800. People will think twice about clicking that name. They're going to be looking at some 2v2s with Thielen and a 2K guy, or then you might end up with 2 guys in like the 7K range or something like that. A lot of people will go that route instead. So I do like that price tag for sure, but the captain player pool still trying to bring it all together, but I'll be looking to do some different things tonight for sure.
Yeah,
and one thing I will note, which is important, because a lot of people will say, grind every slate and you got to do this, you got to do that. Like, man, like if you're not feeling good about this slate, like scale it way back, because again, I think there is way more variance tonight than normal. Now, if you have a good read on the situation and you like your teams, like your plays, yeah, go for it. But don't be afraid to scale back on the play if you don't love this one. Save it for the weekend. Yeah,
we talk about that all the time. I like that advice. Obviously, I'm not scaling back on this one. I'm very interested in this slate, so I'm excited for it. But some thoughts in the chat too. Just people saying, obviously, like the the setup we've got here. I'm really trying to become a better player instead of donating to contests. I've gotten better since watching these shows. Chris, appreciate you watching, man. First of all, second of all, we talk about that all the time. Even if you can't become a member at Shipit Nation, or you don't win one of these free ones today, always just check out the shows. It's always the same crew that and expect. Hoop Title, myself, and we've got other shows too over on our Shipit Nation YouTube station, which you guys can go check out. Maybe we can throw the link in there for you. Subscribe to the channel. When we get to 5,000 subscribers, we're giving away an annual membership over there. But we just say, like, again, you could just come watch these shows. All of our shows are free. There's no secret shows. The community is a bigger aspect to us than the premium shows or the up to lock versions that other sites do, things like that. And the main reason is because while other communities have pros, we have pros too. Pros that play DFS full time. All of us here don't go to work 9 to 5 every day. We work for Shipit Nation, for you guys, and we play DFS. That's what we do. So amongst other things, but we have a professional community. We have a community full of people that keep it very kosher. There is no back and forth and BS. It's all very professional. There's a ton of interaction, actually sharing tips, getting better. If you want it, we talk about it, education, collaboration, innovation. It's all that in the Discord. You're getting people that have questions that don't feel comfortable asking them on other sites. Here, it's open space in the YouTube chat. You can ask whatever. We try and answer questions throughout. These are free shows. If you can't make it into the membership, just be here. When you win, come join up and join the community. That's really what it's all about. Title, go to you, man. Your thoughts on this game. Give me thoughts on just how you see it playing out. I mean, maybe you and me are more aligned on this, but I like this slate quite a bit. So how do you see it playing out?
Well, talking just the overall game, I mean, I thought that it was a trap line, and I liked the Jets a little bit Thursday, and the Jets did what the Jets usually do. As far as this one, I mean, I just can't back any Bryce Young team right now. He can't push the ball downfield. Now he's missing his best downfield weapon in Chark. I'm on the Bears side. Badgers look pretty good as well. So if I have to pick who I think is going to win, cover, I'm on the Bears side. But that's not how we built DFS. Like, just because I like the Bears doesn't mean I'm going 5-1 Bears or 3, whatever it may be, and eating all that chalk. You're still playing a DFS salary game against opponents. So just broad slate overview, I guess. I think the defenses will be more popular than the kickers, and that's usually one of the first things I look at in that, because they're always priced in that range. And I always kind of like going against the grain. I don't know. Last game, defenses were more popular than the kickers. The kickers got there. This week, I feel the same thing. Low totals. People gravitate to the D, coming off a big Chargers defense too. Maybe that boosts ownership a little bit. So I prefer the kickers right there. I don't usually like making too many rules, but because there's so many unknowns in these backfields, I'm thinking max 1 for running backs on both sides of the ball. I want your guys' take on that as well. But the Sanders, Chuba, like, even at their price, it feels tough for them to both get there. Now, a lot of people probably think that. Maybe people group it away, so when they do get there, you win all the money. I get that. I think there is enough ways to get different, though. So my lean right now is max 1. I feel better with the Sanders, Chuba, thinking maybe on the Bears side as well. But those are my initial thoughts. And then captain spot, really interested. Hoop's the one that usually like 3-4 captains. He's way more tight with the pool. Right now, I am not tight at all at the captain position. I think multiple of these guys, when Thielen's the highest price or the highest projected guy in the slates, coming off a brutal game. There's just so many ways I think that can get there. Cole Kmet has been a beast with Badgin. DJ Moore we saw 2 months ago when he went out for 40, 50 on primetime, stuff like that. So kickers over defense, max 1 running backs right now. I want your takes on that. And I'm definitely going to be spread out at captain, which people probably don't like to hear, but hey, that's what I'm doing.
Before I talk through it, I'm going to give away the first monthly membership. You know, I love some wordplay and some wordisms and things. He says, I hope to ship more than I min cash and to min cash more than I lose. And I actually like that mentality quite a bit. That's what we all hope to do. So Mario Banks, hit us up, info@shipitnation.com. You screenshot your YouTube account and I'll say it. Like, that's part of what we try and preach and make sure people know we're not sitting here telling you sign up, we're going to win, or you're going to win automatically. That's not really how it works. And we know this. We've all been playing for years. But if people had this mentality to understand it is the truth. Do we all want to ship? Yes, that's the goal. That's why the name is Shipit Nation. We're trying to get the job done. But you won't always. So the goal is just to become a better player. And as I always say, it's even in our education videos, everyone says trust the process. And there's 2 mistakes. 1, they don't help you learn a process. 2, or provide some way for you to get better and create your own. And then 2, that's not really the case, because the process is, even when you have it in place, you still have to trust the progress. You have to see stuff go your way. And that's a great way to put it, Mario. So appreciate you. You are our first winner of the monthly membership. I like that mentality. I really like where your head's at. I think it's going to be awesome. You're going to enjoy it. So reach out to us. And then Kevin says it. Another great thing about us, we get our content up early. I'm going to give 2 hot takes that haven't even made the slate plan yet that I'm in on now. Well, I'll give 1. I'll save the other one for the slate plan, but 1 is for sure. No 5-1 Chicago's tonight. I get it. I understand why people are doing it. I'm not going to play any 5-1 Chicago's tonight. I think it'll be 8 to 10% of the lineups that are out there. I know Bryce Young just looked horrible. I get that too, but I'm not going to have any of those lineups, not a single one in any of my builds tonight. So again, just trying to go through it for you. The reason I like this game so much, I talked about it earlier. We'll talk more when we get to running backs. And I liked what your comment was there, Title. I haven't finalized everything yet, so I can't comment officially on the Carolina side, but that's part of the other one. Maybe I'll give it away later. But on the Bears side, I feel really good about how this slate's going to play out. I also think Hoop said it best with the Thielen price. DJ Moore actually falls in the same line on the other side. He's extremely priced up as well. And then I'm not sure how the quarterback ownership is going to shake out tonight. We'll see what Run the Sims thinks later on, but I think you could definitely play these guys up top as well, because I think they can spread it out, can get it going with their legs, whether they do or not, that's fine. But then the last piece I'll say, and then I'll go to you, Hoop, to talk through your captains, is that this is like, people always make fun or joke about, like Nades and I on the review show Monday, we always talk if this, then that. Title, you and I on NBA shows, if this, then that, it's our thing. But this is really that slate. Like, if you're going this way with the way the build is, you can almost just fill it out. And I don't think people are going to be doing that good enough tonight with their optimizers and their rules and things that they're setting up. So some of those pieces that you brought up, like an example, if you are going to play Chicago being in this game or up in the game, I really like Foreman. If you're going to play that somehow Carolina's ahead and winning, then I think you need to play Roschon. And as much as that may seem obvious, I just don't think enough people are doing that or thinking like that. And I don't think they're going to set up their optimizer for that. They're just going to take whatever the projection gives them and say, I'm good. So, Hoop, I'll go to you. Give me your thoughts on this game as far as captains go. Like Title said, usually you keep it pretty tight, but maybe this one you could spread it out a bit more just because there's some unknowns. How you handling it?
Yeah, I want to still try to keep it relatively tight. I mean, there's a few that I like, that I know I like for sure. You know, Thielen's one. I mean, I don't know. Like, I think, again, because of that price tag, people are going to be hesitant to pull the trigger there. But I want to do it. You know, Bryce Young is one that I don't love, and I think people will play him up there. It's been rough for him. I definitely prefer Bajent over him, you know, and he's $600 cheaper. You know, the DJ Moore thing, like, I just can't play him up there. If I get burned by it, I'm totally fine with that. I got absolutely creamed by him last game. And it was, you know, the nice thing about that, it was over quick. He had 150 and 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. Like, you knew you're done. Like, it's not like you were sweating something out to the end, and then he catches a 80-yard touchdown and you spent 3 hours watching the game and then got your ass kicked. Like, you knew it in the first quarter. So, like, if I'm going to get beat, like, that's how I want it to happen. But at 10-6, he's still showing good ownership here. He's going to get a big chunk of ownership because there's not many spends. People still remember that other slate. I think he'll be one of the highest owned captains on the slate. I'll be off it. I'm just not playing that. So that's one thing I will be off for sure in the captain spot, where I think others will go because there's not many options and they remember what he did last time out. The running backs, man, they scare me a little bit. Like, I think I do want some Hubbard just because if he gets hot, like, I think he gets all the work. Foreman, you know, had the monster game early in the season, but don't love it. Cole Kmet does stand out. I mean, this appears to be the guy that Bajent wants to throw the ball to. We've seen it, you know, back-to-back weeks, 8 targets and then 10 targets. Young quarterbacks love locking in on tight ends. And, you know, that's been the case for Kmet here. So I am interested in him. And then, like, cheap captain, I don't know if I want to go there today. It's like you could make the case for a guy like Mingo because, you know, all the pass catchers that are out for the Panthers. I don't know if I'll get there yet. And all that information will be updated on my player pool, which I already got some stuff in there, but I'll get everything fully updated after this show. But, you know, Thielen, Bajent, Moore stand out as play, or not Moore, Kmet stand out as plays to me. Just got to kind of finalize the rest. Like, the running backs do scare me a little bit, though, I will be honest. But you run out of options quick, though. Once you start making these cuts, you run out of options quick. It's like, who the hell do you want to play? So, again, it might just end up where I am pretty tight at the captain spot again today.
Title, where do you see a guy like Thielen, DJ Moore, these quarterbacks coming in at? And then, like, it feels pretty balanced after that. That's just the ones where I can't really tell if it's going to be Thielen the most, it's going to be DJ Moore because Chicago side people prefer. But just your thoughts on that. And then also, too, I will note, since the game total went up, was on the board, it's gone down actually 2 points. So it's down from 40 to 38 last I looked. Chicago hovered around 3, and now last I looked, they were at 3.5. So any thoughts on that? And then talk through your captains and where you're at with this ownership and all the stuff going on at the captain slot.
Yeah, no real thoughts on the line movement. It's interesting. I always like your takes on that. No strong leaner. I'm not going to adjust anything with that. But as far as how I see captain ownership going, I think Thielen's going to be the highest owned, probably maybe by like 4 or 5%. The price is way up there, but a big thing is Terrence Marshall's all the way down there at $400 as the wide receiver 2 with nobody. And then you can go to the defenses that a lot of people like. Cole Kmet in the mid-tier, Bryce Young, there's a lot of reasons not to play him. Like locking in, I mean, you look at both these teams, the first person that comes to mind this year, if you've been playing DFS, is Thielen's been a monster outside of last week, really. So I think he will be the highest owned. I still don't think anyone's going to be above 20%, though. How I like it, yeah, I mean, because I like enough value and I think there's enough ways to get different, Thielen is my favorite. It's Thielen and Foreman. I like that because I like the Bears tonight, 3.5-point favorites. If the Bears, you mentioned it earlier, if the Bears are leading, Foreman is the guy, first and second down. He has the best touchdown prop on the slate at plus 115 as well. I like the Bears, so I'll like Foreman a lot at the captain. Thielen they'll chuck the ball. Thielen that way. Now you go to the other side. I like Chuba Hubbard a little bit at captain too. Now those lineups, I don't like Foreman nearly as much because I'm expecting Carolina to play from ahead, and then you get the Roshan Johnsons of the world. And I want you to touch a little bit. Obviously, the Khalil Herbert. We expected Khalil Herbert, or I should say everyone did, to play. He is not going to play. Darrington Evans also got some work last week as well. He's 1.8K. He got 2 targets, 4 targets, 3 targets. I don't think he's the craziest play either. Not really talking captain as much, but Roshan Johnson scares me a bit because I do think Evans eats into his role. So don't love that side of the captain as much. I like Foreman a lot. Thielen my favorite. Chuba would be third in those game scripts. Outside of that, yeah, like I'm going to be playing DJ Moore just because who else down here really has that kind of upside to break a slate like that? I don't like Bryce Young. I much prefer Badgett, even straight up, but with the savings as well. I think Badgett has more rushing upside. We saw it last week as well, 70 on the ground, which makes it fun for a slate like this because you don't need to have 2 pass catchers, maybe even a Badgett captain with no pass catchers just because the slate is so bad. Go ahead. Touch on the DD because he's shit. Go ahead. Go ahead, Tambo.
It's Hoop has it up, man. Hoop's one. Forget a DD for 2 seconds. This comment.
Yeah, this is what had me rolling. This is probably before title's time.
Remember the neighbor on Home Improvement? Man, that's amazing. So I'll say it because Hoop has had it up forever, but he's just saying. So our guy Double D, anyone who watches the show knows he's always in here. Give him some congrats, some love in the chat. This man had 93 builds in when we left him at the grocery store last week on this very show. And this guy comes out and tags us at the end of the night and says, shipped it, boys, 15, 16, whatever it was, 16 or $1,700 off of his lineups. And now today, looks like he got the day off from the factory, he says. So he's in cruise control. Let's get that cheddar tonight. Got his 150 done. 150. Did you know about the wind, Double D? 15 miles per hour up to 25 mile per hour sustained. Like this is getting windy out there. Did you get the wind builds in or do you have to find ones to override? That's the question I have for you. Hoop, anything to add on that before we keep it rolling here?
Yeah, just one addition because I know Title likes the Bears, and there's a I guess
I wouldn't say I like the Bears. I just hate the Panthers. So yeah,
I agree with that too. But there is the Bears do have incentive to win this game because they have the Panthers first round pick, I believe, right? There's something behind that. So like they go out and beat them, that first round pick gets a little more valuable. So I mean, I think there's a little bit of something into that. So yeah, I mean, and I do want to come back on Foreman a little bit. 20 carries last week. I think I prefer him over Hubbard up there.
Also, don't forget about this too. You just talked about some incentive. What about the narrative street angle here? We got Foreman, Moore, Pinero. We got a bunch of different guys playing against their old teams tonight. So I'm told you're not allowed to go after these revenge narratives, but you never know. It's one of those things where if it happens, you say it's because of a revenge narrative. If it doesn't, you're like, yeah, those revenge narratives are so stupid. Who trusts those things anyway? So you got outs on that one. Did you have something else that you wanted to add at all, Title? Did you have anything more that you wanted to go through or question that you asked?
Well, on that revenge thing, I mean, at the end of the day, if the Panthers jump out to a 14-0 lead, it's not like the coach is going to be like, yo, Foreman, it's your old team, so you can run out there, but we're going to throw he's Foreman's so game script dependent. Now, DJ Moore, Badgett's hardly even looked at, it's been all Cole Kmet using his legs. Of course, he is wide receiver 1, but, I mean, the ball has to be thrown to him and actually in his catchable radius to actually do something there. So there's so many other things out there. Like Pinero, he has to have a chance to kick a field goal to make it. So, yeah, all that stuff I don't really look into much. But, no, I mean, Tambo, I'm going to be spread out for sure. I like I said, I mentioned Badgett, Moore, Thielen, Foreman. They're my favorites. But Cole Kmet, and then we go down. Jonathan Mingo's, the Terrence Marshalls, all of those guys. I mean, I don't love cheap captain today, But Terrence Marshall is going to be on the field 70+% of the time and can easily score the second, third highest score on the slate and leave a bunch of salary. So I'm good with those guys down there.
I'm going to spread it out some too. I'll talk in a second. Chris brings this up. This reminded me today. The funniest thing I saw was like, I think it was Malik Monk, and people kept tweeting it and retweeting it and quoting it. But he was like, I don't care about y'all parlays. And people were like, you're not even on the books, buddy. We can't even bet you in these parlays. So we're not talking to you. Don't worry about it. So I love stuff like that. I thought that was hilarious. But yeah, I don't go with it. I mess around with it, the Discord and things just to have some fun. My guy Kevlar called me out right away. He knows I was just joking. But in general, I think, like you said, spreading it out some. I haven't decided. I guess I put like the tiers in my slate plan of where I'm at with guys, and I've got it up a little bit early today. I may flip-flop Bryce Young and Kmet. I just do feel like he's been all over Kmet, and I always love a tight end in the captain. So I could just flip-flop where I've got them from an exposure perspective because I haven't finished yet, but I'm just saying I think that's an opportunity as well. But this was here's what it was, because you guys did your captains. I mean, I'm pretty much the same on a lot of what you guys just said. I like Foreman quite a bit. And this was the take. If you're on the Chicago side, again, I'm not going the Chicago 5-1s. I won't go all the way with it. And I'm going to save the other piece. I'm just going to leave for the slate plan only because I have another nugget that I want to throw in there, but I'll give this one away. Last week on Sunday, I had the flip-flop with Noah Brown going off. I know other people are on him too around the industry, but I use Jake Tribby. This is Jacob Gibbs, another good guy on Twitter. This is actually an old tidbit. But then I went and took the tidbit and extrapolated it to find out more. And he says, when the Bears have been within 7 points of their opponents in 2023, it was like very heavy Khalil Herbert and Roschon Johnson never getting the work. When they were down, it was all Roschon. So what I extrapolated that to was to see, is this a philosophy there? And have they been doing this with Foreman and Roschon Johnson? And sure enough, they have. And even last week you say, oh, but they lost to the Saints. Well, they went up 7-0 first. Tie game, 14-7, then came back. So like every time they've been within 7 points or in the game, they are going with their lead guy. So why I said it earlier, it's if this, then that slate is if you're playing Chicago to crush, you should like Foreman in there more. That's just how it's been thus far. We're only on week 10, but we're at the halfway point. It's football. We're not getting these major samples of an 84 game or 82 game season in some of these other sports, or 162 games in baseball, all these other factors. So keep that in mind. It's what I'm seeing. That's how I look at it. If you're playing a Carolina 4-2, don't be scared to throw Roschon in there. And I know it's scary. You could throw Evans if you wanted. I get it. There's another guy in the mix now. But I'm just saying that's how I would think of it. More so, it's anything can happen, but just an angle to look at, especially if you're building by hand, smaller stuff, things like that. Just think about it. So do you get another winner?
I know you're not a rule guy, Tambo, but you can answer this after, but are you making any max one and running backs on either side, or you're good? Because people will be doing that. And then, of course, if it does work, usually it's less due. But do you see that happening? I'm
going to build in my sets as usual, so I'll be able to eye them up and see. Unless I see a build that makes sense with it, then yes. But I can't really, again, I don't really see it because I'm not building 5-1s from their side where you could say someone comes in late. And if I was doing that even, it would be like Foreman and the captain and Evans as the guy down there. It wouldn't be Roschon. So it's like it's unlikely that I have Roschon and Foreman together. And the other side just is a little bit more interesting, and only because of the Sanders effect, which we'll get to when we talk about running backs. It's very hard to judge what he's going to do, but there is in my mind, there's definitely a possibility where he still gets into the mix for just a get over the line type of thing. And those touchdowns in Showdown can add up. On a main slate, I'd be doing what I always do and telling you to go bet Sanders 2 touchdowns and not play him. Showdown, totally different game. So do you get another winner before we talk about these running backs here? Your takes on them?
Yeah, Jarrett Ramsey, he said, I'd love a month so I can convince the wife it'll be worth it. Got a baby boy due in March, so congratulations there. Use a little help raking in some extra money to spend on him. Let's ship it either way. Well, we'll give you an opportunity to test out the product and, hopefully win some extra cheese there for your new son on the way. So congratulations there. And then you had another comment. He had a follow-up comment to that. I've been watching y'all shows for a couple years and we'll continue either way. Y'all are some dudes. So
I'm glad you said that last part the way you did. That's perfect. Y'all are some dudes. Love this guy. Appreciate that. Jarrett, reach out to us, man. Congrats on the baby boy. Congrats on getting the membership there. Reach out, info@shipitnation.com. You just screenshot your account and send it over to us. We'll get you set up tonight so that you can get in on the action. Hoop, your thoughts on those running backs? We just talked through them a little bit. anything else there. So just curious what your thoughts were.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't think I necessarily want to play, two of these guys from the same team. So I guess I'm going to be on title side. I'll have to look at my teams though. If I'm getting a little bit of it in my 150, yeah, maybe I'm fine with it. But if I'm getting too much, then I'll go in and rule it out. Like, again, I don't want to set a ton of rules today. I just want this to run and, see what I get, and then I'll reevaluate. But yeah, if I'm getting too much multiple running backs in the same team, I'll make that change. I'd definitely be willing to make that rule today. I guess the best example of that is like the Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders. Like Title said, they're both priced where they got to do something. It's not like you're playing an 8K running back and then a guy that's $1,000. So you're committing $13,200 of salary to guys that are, at best splitting time. So I definitely don't love that one. I'd be more willing to do maybe Foreman and Roschon Johnson, but again, not actively looking to do that. If I get too much, I'll be setting those rules. And then like these cheap dudes, I don't have a ton of interest in, but my favorite for sure. And, we've kind of talked about it and I feel better about it as the show's gone on is Foreman. I think, Tambo, you like him. Title sounds like you like him too. Like he's the one that I definitely prefer out of this entire group here. I'm just going to be more on the bear side tonight. I think the more that we talk about this.
Yeah. And just some people in the chat, we're going to give away 3 more still. So keep throwing your comments. But if you do, there's some people say like, I just have been looking for a site or a home or want to go to one of these places. Like this is the key. You can still get in very cheap. One of the things, Hoop and I talked about when we first started this thing and Title joining us, the rest of our team is just making sure we keep the price affordable. That's something we said we would commit to since day one. We would always do that. It's $69 a month. You can go $59 a month. If you sign up for the 6 month, you can go $49 a month. If you sign up for the annual, I think a lot of the negativity around the industry stems from price gouging or these sites being too much for too little or just for takes and things like that. And we have everything. We have the content other sites have from people that play full time that you see us in the streets putting our own money up on these plays. We have the projections, tools, rankings, ownership that other sites have that other people know and respect and pay for and speak highly of. And then we have a community that's like no other, and the chat speaks on it all the time. We don't have to continue to toot our own horns when it comes to that. It's a very inclusive community, like-minded individuals, similar goals and mindsets. You can get in for $62 a month with code Mayo. Try it out. It's nothing for 1 month. You're paying like $13-14 a week just to give it a shot and see what we're talking about and what other people are talking about. You can go to the site and click testimonials right when you land and start reading it. No one's saying Hoops Core Report hooked me up and sold me on everything. It's not what the gist of it is. It's these guys are teaching me to be a better player, and I'm around people that are playing this and understand it. A lot of people out there hang out with, you're watching, answer my question. If you're out there watching right now, how comfortable is it going to the Christmas dinner telling people what DFS is and explaining to them daily fantasy sports and DraftKings, and it's a salary-based game, and these plays equal this, and I had a 2v2 for the nuts, and this hat, like they don't know what you're talking about. This community knows exactly what you're talking about, and that's the key. You're talking with people that understand it, can get along with it, can get behind it, root for you. It's a community full where if they're not at the top, they're cheering for you to be at the top, because if you're out, you're out. I can't, if Title's winning first and I'm not up there, I ain't getting up there tonight, but I'm rooting for Title to get it home. We were rooting our boy Marley on last week.
And it was Butter in NBA chat yesterday too.
Last night, Butter rooting home the 2,500 mega ticket. Exactly, where no one else can win it. That's there. It's not a member chasing down. If it is, it's kind of like a friendly little banter back and forth. But realistically, that's the key. It ain't the same as these other sites. And if you don't believe it, it only costs $62 to check it out. But there's tons of people that are telling you about it already. So up to you. Code Mayo gets you the discount. Hoop, anything else you want to add on here, man? If not, I think we can keep it moving. Let's go to wide receivers and bring some other stuff into this.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you hit most of the main talking points here, but the goal, you talk to anyone that does this professionally or has had long-term success, you need some sort of complement to your playing. And by that, I mean some sort of content, some sort of assistance. There's just so much information out there. There's so many different angles. You need to be looking at it on a daily basis. If you have your own process, you haven't figured out, great. That's fine. There's no shame in that. But majority of people need a little assistance. Our goal was always to bring our members an all-encompassing product for a much cheaper rate. So you have access. A lot of people can't afford the big price tags. Now, the price tags for this sort of content it's extreme. And, I know there's a lot of inflation all over the world right now. It seems like DFS sites are taking that inflation number and bumping it by 10x. And then, we're not doing that here. Like, we are not. A lot of content sites are saying, oh yeah, inflation 7-8%. Let's bump our prices 25 to 30%. We've remained true to our price tag. It's going to stay low. It's going to stay the cheapest, all-encompassing product in the industry. And a lot of people are loving it. And again, that's our commitment to our members and any potential members moving forward is the lowest all-in price in the industry. And we stand by that.
Yeah, 100%. Title, do you got a winner out there? We're 35 minutes in. We'll obviously do the wide receivers. We're going to do the tight ends, kickers, and Ds, and then we'll get to the sim segment. But got to give away a third monthly member. If you don't have it yet, just
give me
let
a
it marinate.
I don't want to rush it.
About these wide receivers.
Yeah, one that got brought up, I want to ask you about, Hoop, was Tyler Scott, $200. How much does he make work for you? Like, do you think he's needed? People are asking about the stars and scrubs builds, which include him. So maybe talk through that, and then you can talk us right up to the top as well.
Yeah, in on Scott. I mean, $200 play, especially in those Bajent captain teams. Like, if you're going to play 2 pass catchers with him to get a dude for 200 that should be on the field a decent bit, I'm definitely down with that for sure. So, Thielen, already talked about it. Like, his game fits DraftKings scoring perfectly. 11.8 price tag. Maybe some people get some sticker shock, but maybe not though. Like I said, there's enough cheap plays out there where it is easy to fit, but I want access to him. DJ Moore will be, maybe just a flat. I guess the best way to put it, I'll be under the field on DJ Moore if I play him at all, and it'll be in the flex only. I'm not playing him captain. If he goes out and dusts me again, cool. Move on to the main slate, move on to the NBA slate tomorrow, whatever. I mean, that's just the nature of this game. Not going to be mad, not going to make any excuses about it. If he dusts me, but I'll be most likely, pretty underweight, and that'll be reflected in the my player pool on the site. Mooney at 7,400, that's another guy that's an uncomfortable price tag. I like him in those Bajent captain teams, like get some exposure to the guys that are going to be on the field. But, he's really been taking a backseat to a guy like Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet's been essentially their entire passing offense. So at 7.4, I think he comes in low owned, but in Bajent captain teams, I do want some of him. DJ Chark is out, obviously, like we talked about. Scott good with, what is it, Velus Jones Jr.? I mean, he's another $200 play, not super exciting play, but a guy you can look to. And then guy that's probably is going to be the most popular cheap play. But one thing I do want to say about this guy, Terrence Marshall, even the obvious cheap plays get capped, man. They get really capped no matter what. It is very rare to see somebody $200, $400 that gets crazy high ownership. It's just very rare because you don't need it when you start building these teams. Like, you're just not going to need, especially if you're doing 150 and run the optimizer, you're just not going to need that much of him. So, people are going to look at it and say, oh, he's mega popular, blah, blah, blah. They get capped. I guarantee it. It's not going to be a crazy, crazy number. So be in on him, in on Mingo. Mingo's a really good play at 2,800. So, I mean, that's kind of where I'm at, wide receiver.
Yeah, one thing, Title, before I go to you for the winner, Mooney, someone just mentioned in the chat, Mooney above Kmet has to keep Mooney's ownership down. And then the chat also brought it up, like 6 targets. Our girl Drea, we'll get some FanDuel in today. I know she's going to be looking for that at the end. We'll make sure we remember FanDuel, try and go through that throughout as well. But I think that's one thing. And then also Terrace Marshall versus Mingo, difference in price for sure. But that's, maybe you pay up for the probability. Like Hoop said, I expect Marshall to be somewhat capped, but I also expect him to be very popular for $400. Like, it's for what he is. So, but it can come through. They're missing guys. So it would make sense. Chark is doubtful. We expect him to be out. So that's how we're playing it here. But do you have the winner? And then take us on some of those takes that I was just going through beyond what Hoop mentioned. We know some of the stuff, Thielen, the obvious, all those ones. Go ahead.
Yeah. Tyler Roper. Nice message. Wants to check out the Discord. Wants a family in the DFS community, and he has the St. Louis Blues avatar, and we do have some NHL over here and a good NHL slate as well. I've been dabbling a little bit. NBA only 2 games. We'll still have content, but NHL a nice one. Maybe you're in the NHL streets, we can help you. Nades has that up over here as well. Projections as always. So shout out Tyler Roper.
Yeah, great first name. I'm glad you chose that one because it would have been, a big bias thing or rigged. People in the chat saying it was rigged, whatever that might be. So happy you picked up that one. I don't know if it's still staying up there because you got it up there or not, but you can take that one down. But Tyler, you can reach out to me, info@shipitnation.com. Maybe you were just playing into the Wilson bit, the home improvement thing with the fence stuff. Do you even know what that is, Tyler?
No, I have no clue.
I told you.
I just thought about that. It clicked in my head. This man never seen Tim the Toolman Taylor in his whole life, or Al Borland, or none of these guys. JTT, man, this guy's missing out. You got to go back on Netflix or something, whatever, wherever they got that.
No, that is a good one though. You would, I think you'd appreciate that one.
I heard there's a new Prison Break season coming out, and that's what I'm pumped for over here.
Really? That's like Mrs. Hoop's favorite show. I have to let her know.
Schofield and Sucre was my picture on forever in Discord. So yeah, I'm excited for that.
Howdy ho, neighbor. We got all the good ones coming out here tonight. We might have to do a special. We get some Boy Meets World on here.
Boy Meets World, some Topanga. We'll get some Topanga going.
Topanga versus Kelly Kapowski, man. That was the one.
Oh, it's got to be. It's Kapowski for sure for me.
Same.
New cast. No, that makes me sad. There's no Schofield. I'm sad, DFS. But hey, I'll get back. Yeah. I'll get back to I know Santa Claus with him. Yeah, I do know that, Michael.
We know that one. Okay. Talk to us about those guys I was mentioning, these wide receiver options. One last thing, Tyler, if you did, maybe I said it already in case you missed it, but info@shipitnation.com. Screenshot your YouTube. That's 3 of 5. 2 more to give away. Keep smashing the like. Subscribe to the channel. Maybe Hoop can throw the YouTube station up for us in there while Title breaks down these wide receivers. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm going to start with Terrence Marshall because I agree with Hoop. Like, I don't think he's going to be 30% or anything like that, but I think 20 to 25 in the flex. And at that point, like, I'm going to be underweight. There's no doubt about that. I'm going to have a lot of feeling. I'll just naturally like Mingo. And when we get to the tight ends, I'll be taking shots on these tight ends as well. I prefer Marshall in the captain spot because he's going to be way lower on there. We talk about it, cheap captains. It's not like you can just plug in Terrence Marshall and then all the chalk around it leaves $0 in salary. It's going to be duped that way for sure. But if Terrence Marshall, I want to play him when he does get there. He's going to be chalky in the flex, low owned in the captain. He'll still be on the field a lot. If he does fall in the box, he gets an 80-yard game, something like that. I think he has outs to the captain spot at way less ownership. And then I can get different in other spots, still leave some salary, etc. So I plan on having more Marshall in captain than the flex, and I'll probably be underweight there. And then I like Mingo. I like Adam Thielen. No doubt about that. On the Bears side, I like your point about Darnell Mooney because his ownership's going to have to be in check. Cole Kmet definitely grades out better for cheaper. Mooney's an explosive player. Get him in space. He can break one. So I like Mooney. I think he's interesting in the captain spot too, paying up, overspending to be contrarian, but you do know he has that upside. So I definitely like me some Darnell Mooney. Outside of those guys, like the Tyler Scotts of the world, the Velus Jones Jr. of the world, the Amir Smith Marsate of the world, like I think I'd rather these backup tight ends. Not backup, I guess necessarily, but the Hayden Hurst, maybe even I would rather like a Robert Tonyan, stuff like that. Tyler Scott would, I guess, be the guy, but I think Equinemius St. Brown might be on the active roster. I'm going to have to monitor actives there because Khalil Herbert was expected to get called up. St. Brown also plays some special teams as well, and I think he would eat into some Tyler Scott wide receiver 3 roles as well. So that'd be a boost down for Scott for me. And I guess I don't think St. Brown's the craziest thing. Haven't even looked at his price, assuming he is in the pool. Let's see. He is $200 all the way down there. So another guy who will be 1% owned or something like that. He might get on the field a bit, and a Scott's a couple percent higher, maybe like that. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think Marshall's the big talking point, what you do with him. I don't think it's crazy to go 60% in the flex or something like that either. If you just want to jam it that way, I'll be taking the different approach, like overspending for Mooney, like overspending. I guess not overspending for Mingo, but I like Mingo. Feeling more, of course, but when we get to these tight ends, I definitely will be mixing and matching those guys, and I prefer them over the punt receivers right now.
Yeah, the thing is, like the Mooney factor, I love the game theory aspect of it because, like you said, he's over the Kmet price. You can just pay up to him and nobody else is, but it's really tough because got to get him the ball still, right? That's kind of the thing, and that's the game we play, but it just does it's harder for me to think that one through and be a thing.
At least one touch he can get there, though. He is that guy where he does have that explosiveness. Does that help you out? Get him a screen, he get in space. And Adam Thielen ain't breaking an 80-yard touchdown. He doesn't have that athleticism. At least you do know Mooney has that. That doesn't help you.
No, it does and it doesn't. Like, I get it. I'm not against you on this. I'm willing to kind of play anything anywhere, and it would make sense on this slate. It's more of a challenge when it's as what does Hoop always say, like, he's got a real price to him. He has to do something, and that is a big boy price tag for Darnell Mooney. I'll say that much at least, but I get it. And I think that if it's going to happen, it's going to be big. So I think that you'd kind of want to take those chances, like you mentioned, just have him in the captain if you were going to do it. Right now, I don't see that happening. Like I said, I'm not final on anything, but I think that's the truth. Thielen let us down last week a little bit, but he should have a good bounce back here, be more involved, good spot. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm with you guys on the rest. I don't see much else here to talk about there. Hoop, do you got anything else? If not, take us into the tight ends, kickers, defenses.
Yeah, so tight ends, I mean, I think Komet's a very strong option, captain, flex, 6,600 price tag, totally fine with that. I mean, he appears to be the favorite target of Bagent, and that's a good thing. And you get these young quarterbacks, they like to lock in on the tight end. He's locked in on him right now, and, I want some exposure. But, I agree. The Mooney stuff, I want some Mooney too. Again, if you're playing Bagent captain, like, I think getting a guy like Mooney is the right move. But Komet, I like the Hayden Hurst call. He should benefit from this, these pass catchers being out. 4 targets last week doesn't sound like a big number, but if those 4 targets are 3 for 60 and a touchdown, you'll be thrilled with that. So I like him. Tommy Tremble, 2,400. He got 2 targets last week. Again, doesn't seem like a big number, but that 2 could turn into 3 or 4. And if he finds the end zone, at 2,400, you take it. Not super interested in Tanyan. So it's going to be Komet, Hurst, Tremble. Really like Komet, obviously, though. Defenses, they're going to be popular tonight. I mean, anytime we're coming off a slate where the defense is the optimal captain, the next slate, you see all the tweets. Holy shit, the Bears defense is X% owned and they're X% in the captain. They're going to be popular, both of them. I think the Bears and the Panthers, Bears probably more so. I'll just keep running. Again, you guys know how I play the defenses. I'll keep rolling with that tonight. And then kickers, I'm a little bit worried just because, first off, I don't like kickers in the stadium. It is very open to the wind, and then we do have some wind as well. You're talking 15-mile-an-hour wind. It looks like gusts into the 20s. I'll have some just because the nature of this slate. And I don't know exactly how much, but I'm slightly worried because, again, I don't like kickers in the stadium, and now we do have that wind, and this stadium really feels the effects of the wind. So don't love them. I'll have some defenses. I'll do my normal thing, and then kind of laid out who I like at tight end there.
I'll definitely be good with the kickers. We did this last time, and we do it all the time. Everyone by we, I mean everybody. Like, these teams can definitely get down to the 20 and fail, and you could just see 3, 4, 5. Like, it just stack up, and it doesn't matter about wind when you're that close. So it's like everyone always does that. It's like they think these teams are kicking 50-yard field goals every time, and it's just not the case. So, and we got guys that can move the ball. 2 bad teams, like, you can definitely see it where they just break down once they get close. They're still running that kicker out there. They're practicing it all in warm-ups. They're angling for it. They're doing what they do. It's a profession. It's their job.
Did you say we have guys that can move the ball?
Yeah, the 2 bad teams, I think they can definitely move the ball both ways and get close enough. I'm saying people are acting like this game is just going to sit at half all game when we do the wind thing. These guys, like Foreman, can jam it on them. Like, these guys, Hubbard can get in space and move. I'm not expecting something super high scoring. I'm saying, but when people act like you can't play, not you, just in general, you hear it all the time. The winds are bad. Don't play kickers. We did this last time. There was a bunch of kicks. Like, you can get down there.
No. I'm fine playing the kickers. I will have some, but this stadium is a stadium I typically just don't like kickers in. So that's more of why I'm going to play him. I'll honestly probably be over the field on him just because of the nature of the slate, where if a kicker goes out and gets 9 fantasy points, that definitely could be good enough on the slate.
Yeah. Title, your thoughts on tight ends, kickers, defenses, and then we'll move to FanDuel after this. Hoop's going to get some FanDuel takes in there. Maybe find another winner too, Hoop.
Yeah, as far as the tight end position, I mentioned I like these guys, and an injury that doesn't seem important at all, but Steven Sullivan on the Panthers, he got 5 targets last game, 4 catches. Hayden Hurst's role went down. Tommy Tremble's role has been, I guess, better than they expected in the beginning of the year. But now without Sullivan, and you take Chark out as well, maybe they run more 2 tight end sets. I'm definitely going to be mixing in the Hayden Hurst of the world, Tommy Tremble. I do prefer Tommy Tremble if I had to pick between the two. Hurst, he feels the athleticism is definitely gone. He feels dusty at this point of his career. Now I'm fine with it. A couple catches, 4 catches for 40 can get there, but the Tremble savings, and I just think he's probably better at this point of his career. So both of them I'm totally good with. And I don't think it's crazy if you played both in the same lineup too, but not something I'm going out of my way to do. Cole Kmet, we talked about him a lot. Definitely Ben Badgett's favorite target. I like him a lot. Yeah, maybe looking into it more with like the Robert Tonyan, and I was talking about Scott and stuff. He's got a catch in almost every game, most games so far this year, but pretty much just 1 catch sitting at like 1 to 2 points. Maybe I like Scott more, but I think Tonyan might be 1% owned. Scott might be 6% owned. So I guess Tanyan's fine. But the main guys, Tremble, Hurst, Cole Kmet at tight end. Talking kickers, defenses, just looking at that range, like they have to be played. And that's also a reason to like Hayden Hurst a little bit. Eddie Pinheiro, 4.4. All right, let's go. Panthers D, 4K. Bears D, 4.6. Santos, 5K. And then where's Bears D? Bears, 4.6. Panthers, 4K. Pinheiro, 4.4. Santos, 5K. I think all of them will be way more popular than Hurst in that range, which is 4.8K. So talking through it makes me like Hurst a little bit. And Miles Sanders is right there, 5.2K too. I think all 4 of them might be more popular than Miles Sanders as well, which I like Chuba a lot, but just because of that range, and I think people not wanting, and the Bears or the defenses and kickers being cheaper, I think Sanders is interesting because there's no way you can get ownership. Running back too, a lot going against him, coach speak and all of that. So maybe I'll have a little more interest just to be contrarian on Miles Sanders. But I mentioned pre-show, I think defenses will be more popular. People worried about the win, perfectly fine with me. I want the lower owned of the two most times than not. I think kickers will be that today. Hopefully they stall out. Hopefully there's no kick return, stuff like that. But prefer kickers to D. Not going to fade them, the D or any of that by any means, but probably underweight.
Yeah, I like that breakdown. Hoop, do you got another winner? And then take us into the FanDuel stuff. I'll pull FanDuel up over here on Run the Sims. Oh, mute donkey.
Same mindset.
He really went deep on that one. He was going.
I just wait.
What do you mean? I said like 5 words, and then I was like, "Oh shit!" Like I'm muted. Like it was not deep. It was.
You're saying you knew before Tambo said you're about to click it?
No, not necessarily.
Next time we'll let him go, Title. Next time we'll let him go.
Yeah, just let it
start nodding and like go with it.
Same sort of concept as last time. Happy if the people in the nation agree that I obviously need a chance to join the nation, so my wife will stop asking me why I'm wasting my time with that stuff. It brought me back to the days when Hoop told Mrs. Hoop that he was quitting his job to play fantasy sports full time, and kind of that whole story kind of started processing in my head. So it hit close to my heart with this comment. So there you go. You can tell your wife you now have a better chance to win at that stuff. So congratulations on winning the month membership.
But before you go, I want to add one piece because you said it. I love that he said that stuff. I actually had a member DM me the other day. I won't say their name or give up the whole story, but this is what it's all about. Like they said, this is the problem. I keep seeing other people hit these wins because we've had a phenomenal last couple of weeks. We didn't go on a screenshot tour today. You can check it over on our Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, but you can see it there at Shipit Nation. He said, I just haven't got mine yet. What's going on? You know, my missus is asking me, you know, you're spending time on this. What's that looking like? And I said, honestly, you need a good support system. That's a good starting point, but showing them that you're investing your time into actually learning the game and get better at it is part of the process. Like that is the key, because you're not just gambling. You're not just throwing some lineups in and taking off. You're actually taking a course to learn it. If you were saying, hey, I'm going to take a course to learn, I don't know what it is, Photoshop Premiere. I'm going to start editing videos online for fantasy sports players. They do all these short videos now. I'm going to go on YouTube, make them videos. You'd have to invest money. You'd have to invest time. You go do all that. You come back. You find out it's a hard business to find your way into. You don't get any customers. Funny enough, the missus probably wouldn't be as hard on you because she'd say, oh, well, you tried, honey. You tried to get into something, and that it's no different. This is not a hobby. This is not, for some, I understand, but I'm saying when you're putting your money in, you should be treating your hobby as something more serious, even though it's truthfully a hobby versus your real life and your family time. Put the time in and the work in, and then see the returns on that. And that's what you can explain to the missus, that again, it's no different. Just because you go do something else or start some other business, it doesn't mean that's going to take off right away either. You have to put the time in. It's 100% the key. Hoops 10 years plus. I'm 6 or 7 years plus now. Title, I know you've been doing it less time than us, but you're younger. You're fully invested in this around the clock.
2016, I looked on FanDuel earlier when my account was made.
Yeah. So it actually is quite a way. I think mine's like 2015 on there. So it's basically the same. But again, how much you're putting, if you're putting the time in, you want to get something out. And that's why it's not just picks and plays. You actually can get questions answered. You can take a 4-hour NFL DFS course or just jump right to the showdown segment and do that. So a lot of things I wanted to say there, but that I thought was key. Somebody brought that up, and that was the winner just said, wasting your time on that stuff. This is a way to show it's not just that stuff. There is a way to get better at this game. So definitely think that's important. Go ahead, Hoop.
Yeah, great. Yeah, great breakdown. And I like how you tied those two things together for sure.
I got the last winner. It'll be after the segment, so stick around.
Okay,
we'll see where they're at. But I got the last winner coming. Hoop, do a little FanDuel spiel here, and then you guys can start throwing your scores into the chat. I brought FanDuel up, Hoop, on Run the Sims just so pricing's here. And this is just the generic run. I didn't change anything. This is like Vegas total, Vegas odds, everything as is.
Yeah, so quarterbacks, Bajent 16K, Bryce Young 14.5. I don't think any of us were thrilled with Bryce Young on DK. I mean, I think we're still all going to play him, but definitely more viable on FanDuel. Quarterbacks have the advantage over there. Running backs have the advantage. Donta Foreman is 11.5. Hubbard is 12.5. Really like that 11.5 price tag on Foreman. Definitely a guy that I'm higher on now that I talked through the slate with you guys. Thielen at 15K, probably harder for him to get there. Likely needs the end zone. DJ Moore 13K, you guys don't need my personal thoughts on DJ Moore anymore. Komet at 10.5. I like that price tag. And then we have the kickers and defense all jumbled up. Bears D 9,500, Panthers D 85, Santos 9K, Pinheiro 8,500. Miles Sanders has a bad price tag over on FanDuel. They have Miles Sanders at 9,500. That is not a very friendly price tag. Mingo 75, Terrence Marshall 7K. I think both very, very strong options over there. We talked about Mooney. He's all the way up to 10K on FanDuel. I still like him a little bit, especially if you have Bajent MVP teams. In terms of the cheap options, Tyler Scott 600, Tremble's or not 600, 6,000 for Tyler Scott, 6,000 for Tremble. It's a little bit harder to trust these cheap options on FanDuel because they don't have those extremely, extremely low price tags in the hundreds. They're still 6,000. So I don't know, pretty similar, I'd say, overall today.
Yeah. Title, anything to add quick, and then we'll start getting these scores in there.
I just think it's one of those slates on FanDuel that you can get crazy at MVP because, like Bryce Young, one of the highest projected. I hate Bryce Young today. The dude can't throw it more than 10 yards downfield. I do like Bajent for his rushing upside, but even Thielen at 15, go down to Cole Kmet at 10.5. Would I be surprised if Cole Kmet outscores Thielen, especially on a half-point PPR site? Not at all. So I think it's a slate you can definitely get different at MVP spot. Always on FanDuel. If you use all the salary, you're almost guaranteed to dupe with how bad their structure is. I know I'm rocking the hat. I should not be doing on showdown slates because they continue to mess it up. Still do play on FanDuel, but yeah, just get different at MVP spot. Play with the Foremans of the world, the Komets of the world, the Mingos. I guess he's going to be wide receiver too. He's going to be less than 1% owned. So I think get different at MVP. Leave a little bit of salary, and then you can still play chalk around it.
Yeah, I like that call. We're going to get to scores. If you want to check for one title, give me a second. I'll get the last winner in here. I will say this, when we do these giveaways, and thank you again so much to Nevs, Chris, appreciate it. Very generous of you. These people are all going to love this. I think we picked some really good winners. The way to get to Hoop's heart is always family. If you guys notice, he always picks, if you have kids on the way, and congrats to all you new parents. If you have kids to buy presents for, if you got to tell your wife, it's all good stuff. We support it all. We're big on family, and I love that. But the way to my heart is always like my guy Mario earlier, see the game like the slate, see the game, see this thought process of winning this prize as DFS. And I will say this, our guy Chris, He said, I usually can't make it here live. The day I do, there are 5 trials. Sounds like fate. I believe in some fate stuff too, but it's not that. It's that he commented a bunch. Great comments throughout, helping people out in the chat. But he didn't get discouraged. You don't know. We talked earlier. You don't win on the first try all the time. But he could have said, didn't win the first 2 or 3 of these prizes and bailed. He stuck around right to the very end. I can scroll down. This man still remembers grandma's wheelchair from 5 minutes ago. This guy
that was good.
dedicated. So I feel good about hooking Chris Logan up with this. Chris, hit us up, info@shipitnation.com. We appreciate you, man. You guys know we're all about the giveaways. We'll be giving more away. This was just what we had up there today. If you are a member, and for those new members that are just getting in, use promo code MAYO for 10% off. We are running a free roll tonight in the NFL Discord channel, so you can check that out. Get in. Up to 200 people can get in on the action. Title, what score are we going with, man? People can start throwing their scores in now. What do you got?
One more thing
I saw. Go ahead.
One more thing I wanted to touch on, Tambo, because you got me thinking, right? All right, so we do these giveaways, and we make people not make them, just to verify that they are who they said they are. We make them send the pictures of their YouTube profile, right, for proof. Now everyone kind of knows, that if they say they're having a baby or something along those terms, like, I'm just going to pick them. So I might have to start requesting like ultrasound photos of proof that you actually do have a child on the way, because, you might be onto something here where people are just going to say, hey, I'm a father. I got a baby coming in a few months, right? My
dog needs a new leg. My tortoise is about to have babies. Like, you're getting them all fired up. But that speaks my language, Hoop, because that's, again, what do we say in DFS? Those that stick around, continue to play, have success are ones that adapt and work on their game and get better. So you just have to adapt. And the users in the YouTube chat will have to adapt, knowing that Hoop is now going to be contrarian when it comes to picking these winners. And your kid on the way is already your success and your win. And we're excited for you to be a parent, but you won't be getting a free membership anymore. Maybe that's what it is. No, I'm kidding. We'll still take care of lots of people. Title, you had it up. It was 2013 Chicago, right?
Yep. Let me pull it up. 2013. It was the first one I saw. I like Chicago pretty close to the actual total. So
yeah, it's 2013. Yeah.
I wanted to override it because my cockatoo is starving, this guy said. And then he said the winner's name was Baby Daddy. The comment really didn't even matter. See, it's just one of those things. We got you. They got you pegged, man. But if you guys haven't seen this, want to remind you quickly, because we're on here all the time. We just say sim segment. You may not know, but Run the Sims, awesome site. Justin and the crew over there do a great job. If you go check it out, especially for Showdown, they have more than this. There's Formula One. There's NFL. The Prop Sniper has been crushing with prop betting, things like that. But for Sim Runner, the program we're using on here, basically what you're doing is you're able to go in and manipulate the score, manipulate who's getting the workloads, all of that manually. If you think you've got a beat on the game and want to build it how you think it's going to go, what we do on this show is simple. We turn off the pro mode. We go to the score. We've changed the Panthers to 13, the Bears to 20. We go up. You click Run the Sims. Under the settings, it's running 10,000 simulations of how this game would play out 10,000 times, and then telling us where these players show up. There's custom lineups. There's other things you can put in, but just wanted to show this so you guys see it.
Slow internet.
Yeah, you got to upgrade that internet. Send the team. Shipit Nation will pick up the tab. Oh, in the 7s.
Ooh,
gotta hit that 9. Hit that 9.
There you
9,
go.
10. Come on. 9:30, baby. Look at that. There you go. All right. Here's what we got. Title, you brought it up. I'll let you look at it here first in a second. But for those that don't know, it's just the player, their price. What Run the Sims has them for flex ownership and captain ownership, which the total's easy to add up. And then it's saying in the simulations of this game, this score, Thielen only showed up with those market shares and all that. He only showed up in the flex 43% of the time, but he was in the captain a little bit more than what they expect. And the other thing too is if you think he's only 18% of the captain, then the captain leverage is much higher in this spot, that it thinks Thielen is even more in the captain because it's, not calculating that specifically. So talk to us about it here, Title. What do you see? Anything that stands out within this run?
Yeah, I mean, the Foreman flex ownership and captain ownership will be updated though. So I don't know if that's going to change other people. He's not going to be 4% and 1%.
That's right.
It's obviously going to be updated. It's a mistake. It's always updated, but yeah. So that's what initially I was like, wow, Give me all the Foreman in the world.
It might be a typo, though. It might be 40 and 10.
That would make sense for
because
sure.
I could see it easily being 40, 10, 50, and it's that. So, and then you'd be like, okay, he's about right in flex. Get him more in the captain. Because in a 13-point game for them, he's still getting in the box probably. A lot of the times it's him just jamming one in. So, yeah, you're right for sure.
Yeah, and it would still be positive if it was, which you're probably right, 40, 10 for out of 0. It'd still be positive in both spots. No, what I'm seeing, though, is it doesn't really like the punt captains, which we talked about. If you do, Terrence Marshall, a little bit, positive leverage, the Mingos, like those are the cheapest guys I'd go just because they're dealing with so many injuries. You know, Mingo and Terrence Marshall are going to be on the field a lot. I don't like punt captain, but those are my favorites down there. Otherwise, it likes the spend ups. It doesn't like DJ Moore much today. Hoop was talking about that as well. I think I like more in the captain than I would the flex, and that's what this is saying as well. Like some Badgett, I like Badgett. Like Thielen, I like Thielen. Foreman, Chuba. So I didn't actually like Chuba as much, but that's because
Chuba's one that they're down on for sure.
They only scored 13 points, which means one touchdown, unless they're saying they missed an extra point. So because of that score, I'm interested to see the next game script we play, what his is there. But yeah, I mean, I like what I'm seeing because that's kind of where I am, and I just don't like Bryce Young today. So I'm good making that stand more.
Anything else you want to add there, Hoop, or you want to pick a different score?
Yeah, pretty straightforward. I mean, I guess the one thing that stands out is the Panthers only scored 13, and Thielen at 11-8 is still, in there, 70% of the time. That's definitely interesting to me, I'd say.
Yeah, good call out. I feel like it has to be maybe a product of just the fact that if they take him over the season, and in this game, he's like the only dude. Like we're making cases for Foreman and for the quarterbacks and things like that. But at the end of the day, you got to think Thielen's season adds up, and it looks like that would be the spot that he's kind of the main dude in the game. So he'd still be involved in that setup. What other score do you got there, Hoop?
Yeah, something like this, I think is all. I mean, the range of outcomes in this game is pretty wide, but yeah, Panthers winning, and this would obviously be in pretty easy fashion. So what is that? That's 41. Okay. So, wouldn't by 2 touchdowns, but staying kind of around the total of the game.
Total's still sitting around 38. So that's right there with that. And that's just flipping to the other side. And could it happen? Absolutely. It's 2 bad teams. Could definitely see that. So
please no. Please no on this. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
No, there's Bryce.
All right, so there's Bryce. Yeah, obviously he pops up. So they've got him right now around 7. Even if I think he's a little bit more, they're still got him just popping off the page. Obviously, the score dictates that too, and same with Thielen being in the mix there. Like that makes sense to me. But the 30% of the time plus they got Thielen in the captain. So it's just this. The reason Bryce is on top is because these are the totals that guys show up. So I think that's something to note as well for people watching for the first time. Just because someone may be negative here, like Chuba Hubbard. I mean, he's still showing up in almost 50% of the run, 5,000 of the 10,000 lineups, 48-20 to be exact. He's showing up in there still, being in the lineup that ships. So that's something to take note of as well. But Title, do you see anything else with this one? You were trying to want to see if we flip the build, what that might look like. What do you see here?
Yeah, Chuba becomes a little better. Badge, obviously. So it looks like whoever wins the game, or like they like one quarterback and they don't like the other quarterback, which is interesting. I'm going to be playing Bryce Young in the flex. There's no doubt about that. But maybe this is limiting more of my 2 quarterback builds and going more skill position players as far as like the defenses. It's still positive leverage right there for the Panthers, of course, because of the score. What about the Bears? Probably way, way down there. They don't like the kickers. That's a big part of the score too. Yeah, Scott down there, I guess. Looking at the punts. Scott, positive leverage, all those full punts, positive leverage, and it makes sense, but very slightly. No, nothing really surprising. It's just Bryce Young, but when they score that many points and he does spread it out more, it makes sense. If Thielen gets 1, Mingo gets if he spreads it around so much, or even Thielen doesn't get 1, he gets his 10 targets for 100 yards and he throws it to a Tremble or something like that. Is how Bryce gets there. But yeah, I hope in the flex, fine. I hope it's not in the captain.
One thing I want to add, and then I'll let you finalize it here, Hoop, but just the Roschon Johnson thing, this is minor. But remember, 2 things. One, what I said earlier. So it shows 5 is what they have him at. He's probably higher owned than 5%, but just saying it, he still shows up in 13% of these runs. And we didn't flip anything for what I talked about earlier, right? Like obviously in a 28-13 game, I think Roschon's much more involved. He's already showing as a positive leverage play at that point, and they've only got him with 14% of the market share on the rushing, 8% of the market share on the receiving. So again, you can play with it further and do it, but if you think that tidbit that I had earlier and my take on that side of it was right, then you're going to want Roschon in more lineups. And that's why just using this point blank is not always the best way to go about it. We do it because we're showing it off so you guys can see what the product's all about, but that just shows you the power of it. I can go in and actually change it to say, if this, then that. I didn't do that here, and Roschon still popped. So anything else here, Hoop, that you saw with this one? That it seems pretty straightforward.
What's the Roschon ownership? What does Run the Sims have it at?
They have them at lower number than I would have them at. They have
it's going to be. He's got to be way higher than that, I'd say, for sure.
I'd say like 15 wouldn't be crazy though.
Yeah, 15ish or so. Yeah,
and so that's where again, then people will say, well, he's only 12.9. But my point is, we didn't change anything for the script. We just let the score run. So while he's already showing up at 13 versus what he may actually be 13 to 15 in the field tonight, when we flip it, that's going to go up a lot more. And so he would be a good play in these builds, regardless of what this tells you, because I didn't change it for that. That's my
I would like him in this sort of game. So I agree with you there. But yeah, everything else seems pretty, straightforward for sure. So yeah, nothing really to add, to be honest.
All right. Title, I'll let you take it away for final thoughts, man, and then we'll get out of here. Anything else you want to talk about on this slate before we move on?
Please no Bryce Young captain spot. Please no punt return, pick six, something like that early.
We're on the same page now. Let's go.
Have a normal game for once.
Yeah, all right. Fair enough. Hoop, final thoughts on this slate. Anything you want to talk about before we get out of here?
Yeah, I'm with Title. Let's nothing crazy. Let us enjoy the game. We don't need any pick sixes right out of the gate, punt returns, kickoff returns. Just let the game play out. And after talking through with you guys, Tambo, you've turned me. We talked early in the morning, and your boy was not. Your boy was down on this one, and gave me a little bit of hope. And now I have a little more hope that we get something decent here, and we're able to get some of these teams into the winner's circle. Congratulations, obviously, to all the winners. We're looking forward to having you a part of our team for at least the next month, and hopefully longer than just that first month. So let's get it started here.
Should be a good one, guys. I got it up on the screen. If you want to go over, like I said off the top, you can easily do it. Go to shipitnation.com. Use the promo code MAYO. Gets you 10% off, and it's very easy to understand on our site as well. It shows you everything that you get. The optimizer is separate, but because of our pricing, it allows you to afford whatever optimizer you choose. We recommend the solver because all of our stuff gets auto-synced with it, but it's very straightforward. $69 a month, $59 a month if you sign up for a 6-month package, $49 a month if you sign up for an annual package, and then you can get 10% off any of these. You just click join now. You simply scroll down to have a coupon, type in Mayo, click it, boom, you're in, and then it jumps back. So just so you guys know, it's very easy to get involved with. If you want to check out the testimonials before you join, we have video ones, we have all the breakdowns, but a lot of it, like I said, is not about hoops, picks, and plays really help me get over the finish line. It's a lot of learning, getting better at your craft, working on your game, and trying to get to that next level. Lots of big scores, people winning 50K. And then, I followed Hoop to Shipit Nation. He brought incredible people and knowledge with him. These guys know their stuff, take care of their members. It's worth it to trust them, listen to them, know what they have to say, help me win big twice. So we're bringing the knowledge. If you don't know, you can go to Education NFL. This is free to check out, by the way. You'll see there, breakdown. The course includes live finals, roster construction. We have a whole segment on Showdown, which is what this show was on. So thank you guys so much. Thanks again to Chris for giving away those memberships. Congrats to all the winners. Reach out to us, info@shipitnation.com. That's going to do it for this one, guys. We'll be back on Sunday morning, 9:45 a.m. Eastern here on the Mayo Media Network. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. For Title, for Hoop, for myself, ToeTagginTambo. Let's ship it.